Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
Is the Venezuelan economy going towards a Chinese economic model? Today we discuss. One of the biggest trade partners and one of the countries with the best diplomatic relationships that the Venezuelan government has is the Chinese government. China has invested billions and billions of dollars in Venezuela with dubious results. Since the starting of the revolution, of the Chavismo on power in Venezuela, China has been a close ally to the Venezuelan government, economically and on the political side. In 2007, the Chinese Venezuelan Fund was created, el Fondo Chino, or Chinese Fund, as we call it. China invested tens of billions of dollars for different projects that had lackluster results, and the money amounts are not, let's say, are not fully public. However, some projects had been developed with this fund, like the imports of Chinese cars and Chinese buses, also with the building of La Gran Misión Vivienda de Venezuela, that was a project by the Venezuelan government to build millions of free houses for the Venezuelan population. Also with this project was a further development of the Mérida's cable car, the Mucumbari cable car that you've seen a lot on this content. Also for the development of the third bridge over the Orinoco River that wasn't fully developed. The Orinoco River already has two main bridges, in case you don't know. So the projects with this Chinese fund maybe didn't generate it, they didn't pan out the best results. However, it was a lot of investment by China, but also China has helped economically the Venezuelan government throughout the years, throughout all of these decades of the Chavismo government, without with mixed results. Now, all of these loans and this funding by China, the main agreement is that it's going to be reimbursed by the Venezuelan government using oil supply. So Venezuela is going to pay the Chinese government sending crude oil. However, the situation didn't pan out great for China because the Venezuelan oil production declined sharply from close to 3 million barrels on the early 2010s to at the moment around 700,000 barrels per day. So the oil shipments to China has been decreasing. However, the Venezuelan government has been consistently sending crude oil to China. Now, at this moment, the diplomatic relationship with China has improved a little bit. China apparently signed an agreement with the Venezuelan government in order to resume some projects within the Venezuelan economy. Now, the Chinese government expects some efficiency regarding the Venezuelan government in order to cover and have the payment capacity to fund such payments and such agreements. And lastly, the Venezuelan government has signed recently a new project of special economic zones within the country that will be 5 plus another 6. So 6 new economic zones that will have a special legal structure and legal framework different from the rest of the country. And if you had a resemblance within the Chinese economy, is because China has a bunch of special economic zones that were signed on the latter half of the 20th century that help a lot boost the Chinese economy. And right now, of course, China, the second largest economy on the world, the Chinese economy has been very beneficiated for these legal structures of special economic zones. So now the question is the Venezuelan economy going towards a Chinese economic model? Well, the answer is maybe. So first let's discuss, just on the surface, how is the Chinese economic model? Well, you have a very good resemblance of free market capitalism until a certain degree that actually has been very successful, has pulled hundreds of millions of people within China out of poverty, and right now the average Chinese has a reasonable good standards of living, still not a first world country. However, the Chinese model has helped enough. So you see the development of beautiful cities like Shenzhen, like Shanghai, of course, the capital Beijing, Hong Kong that had a different, of course, different jurisdiction, different structure, but still kind of part of China, and also many other cities within China that look very futuristic, a lot of projects, a lot of economic development. China, one of the largest exporters of goods and services of the world. So there is a lot of discussion with human rights or how democratic works China. But overall, the Chinese economic model has been very successful. Many people won't like the foreign affairs policy of China or how democratic the Chinese government is, but actually that's kind of the point. In China, the political system is that the central government, the Chinese Communist Party, that they're not communist at all, de facto, but of course, it's kind of an autocracy of one political party ruling everything else, but with some efficiency on the lower levels, on the regional levels, on the city levels, and of course, it has a lot of flaws, this economic model, this political model, however, has brought many good results for the average population. Why many people think that Venezuela is turning to this Chinese economic model? Well, first, because the Venezuelan government, as any politician in the world, the most important thing for them is staying in power as long as they can. And they don't have any plans to leaving the political power of Venezuela anytime soon. Very good. So what happens is they first try this socialist, Marxist economic model, of course, funded by oil revenue. And what happened is the economy got destroyed, 80% GDP collapsed, and also the oil revenue collapsed as well from 3 million barrels of crude oil per day to just at some point 400,000. Right now we are close to the 800,000, give or take, depending who you ask. Well, the main thing is the central government here in Venezuela knows that if they want to stay in power many years, they need a reasonably successful economic model, and now they are looking to China in order to have a kind of a similar economic model, but maintaining political power. Now, how successful this Chinese model can be in Venezuela? Well, first, let's start by the obvious. Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world, also a strategic location on the Americas, the north of South America, Caribbean, beautiful beaches, a lot of natural resources, of course, a lot of commodities besides oil, and also a very well-educated population, and also a very interesting country that historically Venezuela has been one of the most successful countries within Latin America, and right now is probably on the worst or close to being the worst, but with a lot of potential. Now, what the Venezuelan government has to do is basically don't shoot themselves on the foot, leave everything go, let the economic process goes, and generate, but this is the most important thing, generate confidence with the international investors. Right now, the confidence on the Venezuelan government is not the best. However, it's way better than the confidence that the rest of the world had between 2017 and 2019. But still, there is a lot of work to do from the Venezuelan government to generate just enough confidence to the rest of the world, and of course the Venezuelan population that is not confident enough, within the Venezuelan government in order to pull this project somehow efficiently. So the Chinese economic model is going to work in Venezuela? Well, only time will tell.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again and have a nice day.